Thanks to Clarington for letting me speak. I appreciate that. Just a quick introduction for everybody in the audience who doesn't know me. I don't even live here. I'm from Oshawa. I was born and raised in Oshawa. Sold real estate there for 20 years. I was an Oshawa Council candidate in 2010. I'm a council watcher and an activist. And I'm a resident. I'm a resident of the city. Unrelated, I support Dan Worrell and Clarington Fire. I agree with the previous speaker, Mr. Jim Richards, 100% in all of his comments. So I will not address really much of those in my delegation, but it is my honor to follow him. I'd like to thank you, Mayor Foster, for indicating at the start of the meeting that Anti-Bullying Week is quickly approaching in Clarington. My opinions in this delegation are observations and may not match everybody's in the room, but these are my opinions. The title of my delegation, as I thought it out and tried to come up with one, I decided to call it the ABCs of adult bullying. It could stand for adult bullying in Canada or adult bullying on council. Either way, it's unacceptable, it is becoming more prevalent in society and online. Not many people seem to be talking about it or noticing it. I decided to look up on dictionary.com, which seems to be a credible website, a couple of words. One word I looked up first was public servants. It's a noun, and it says a person holding a government office or job by election or appointment, a person in public service. So after I mused on that for a couple of minutes, I decided to look up just the word servant, and I was pleased to find the following definitions. 1, a person employed by another, especially to perform domestic duties, which may be housekeeping, maybe housekeeping in Clarington. 2, a person in the service of another. Or 3, which I found was nice because it referred back to the first part, which was the public servant portion. It said a person employed by the government in public service. You answer the taxpayer, not the other way around. We are here to remind you of these things. We are not scared, and we are not going away. People can find out more about what's going on, just as a regular resident, by going to councilwatcher.com or .ca. There's a new breed of council watchers out there that are developing, and I think you guys know this. You may have awakened another sleeping giant in Heather, and perhaps another's watching at home or via the internet. Transparency and accountability is a thing a lot of politicians seem to run on or in their campaign literature. I know I did when I ran for Oshawa Council last year, but a lot of times it seems to be more of a bumper sticker than things that politicians walk out. And it's kind of shocking when residents who didn't get elected to council actually walk out transparency and accountability and campaign promises, even though some of us didn't get elected to office. I'm wondering at this point, I received an email today, and I'd like to ask permission. I received an email from one of your residents in Clarington. With your permission, I would like to read it. Is that okay? It's not even long. Acceptable?
Is the email pertinent to the subject? And
yeah, it is completely.
Bear in mind that you've got...
I'm at 3 minutes and 50 seconds. Thanks. This is from Laura Feeney, who's a Clarington resident, and she's a friend of many of ours. She's a great lady, she has a great family, she has a big heart. It reads as follows. After reading Heather Olney's letter to Mayor Adrian Foster and all councillors of November 1st, 2011, I, as a Clarington ratepayer, am somewhat perplexed as to its contents. In my view, all Ms. Olney did apparently was ask her employee, that being Adrian Foster, a simple question, and that was all. There was no need for Mayor Foster, in my view, to carbon copy a copy of this correspondence to the Durham Regional Police. As a victim of a criminal beating myself, I know firsthand that our men in blue have more important matters to attend to in governing our streets. That same message can also be directed to Mary Novak and Wendy Partner. The people of Clarington are hardworking and determined, and far from being small-minded and a bunch of nutbars. For the record, I am your employer, who, in the paying of my taxes to the town of Clarington, pays for salaries and expenses. Like any employer, it is my expectation to know exactly where my money is going. Anything less would not be sufficient. This past election was all about accountability. Mayor Foster, you stood on my front porch and made that an important part of your campaign to be mayor, and I gave you my support, much more than that of Mary Novak, my Ward 1 councillor, who did not garner my support because of her stand on the incinerator, who was the last one
I'm not a Ward 1 councillor, just for
after the election. Next time, from what I've seen so far in the past year, I'll be more prudent where I put my X. Accountability with Clarington Council has been thrown out the window. Again, that's from Laura Feeney, Clarington resident, for repair. I'm in a good time here. In a recent Oshawa This Week article, you announced, Mayor Foster, you don't need to report to people where you are on a Sunday afternoon. The article's here. I think some people have read it. I'd like to thank Tara Hadley for writing the article. I was not aware that being a mayor was a 6-day-a-week job. I'm not sure about Clarington, but if John Henry said that in my city council in Oshawa, I'd ask him for 1/6 of my money back.
Excuse me, Mr. Dutton, would you please relate in that article to where I sent that?
I'll do that.
No, sir, you made the statement. I would like you to highlight a quote where I've ever said that this was not a 6 or 7-day job.
Well, when you feel that you don't have to report back to people where you were on a Sunday afternoon, I find that disturbing as the leader of a community.
Mr. Dutton, I will address that later, but your statement was that I said that this was not a 6-day-a-week job.
I said that was my opinion.
You go with that one, sir, but
Thanks, I appreciate that. I kind of like to address the name calling. Mayor Foster, I tend to actually kind of like it. I mean, you made some decisions politically that I don't maybe agree with. But name calling in any event, a little bit by yourself, a little bit by one of your partner over here, that marginalizes people who are taxpayers. That's a form of bullying, in my opinion. Now, how's that?
I thought you made an allegation that I was doing name calling. Would you please elucidate?
Would you like a questioning at the end of my delegation, or is this how you my 10 minutes?
No, these statements are coming out, and it's beyond the 10. I'm not going to cut in, but let's just stop this dead in its tracks right now. Please highlight in that email when I call anyone a name. Mr. Dutton.
Well, let's say I'm working off.
Mr. Dutton, it doesn't exist. Carry on.
Yeah, I'm working off of what Heather told me when I called her on the phone, and I'm working off of a letter that she provided. That's what I'm working off of. My watch shows 8 minutes. How is this type of behavior from a mayor and council conducive to enticing people to vote? Getting out and doing things in their community, becoming an activist, keeping an eye on council, which is their democratic right and duty, as far as I'm concerned. The voter turnout municipally is 30%, which means 70% of people don't vote. And it's some of these types of actions, as I'm sure you're aware of, being a seasoned politician, as well as yourself, Ms. Partner, that causes communities to fall apart rather than come together, in my opinion. Heather's points were great, and in my opinion, not in any way offensive. I'd like to make that clear to Mayor Foster and Ms. Partner. You guys should both be ashamed of your language and thinking towards Heather and stakeholders and residents of your community. They deserve better, and I think you campaigned on better things. I think we should rise above it. If I can right now, I'd just like to remind you of something with Remembrance Day just a few days away. It's this coming Friday, where our country was founded on honor, dignity, and fighting for what is right. This type of behavior from elected officials, no matter what city or office you guys are from, is unacceptable in Canada and in Durham region and beyond. And I'd like to thank Clarington for having me tonight. Even though I'm from another community, I'm a resident just like you. This is what we fight for. This is what we come to council to talk about. We don't want to be name called by our politicians. Doesn't matter what city we're from. And I hope that I made that clear tonight. I'm available for questions.
Mr. Dutton, if you can show me anywhere where I called Heather a nut bar, I would like to see that. I have the original emails that I sent. I wouldn't
it's a little bit of both, and I'd like to address that since it was maybe half a question. Did you or did you not call her or infer that she was one of your ratepayers?
No, I did not.
I would disagree.
Excuse me, Councillor Parker, this isn't a time for debate. Mr. Dutton, you ask questions, we ask questions of you. This is not a debate between us and yourself. Do we have further questions from Mr. Dutton? I asked Mr. Dutton, did you actually read the email?
What I read,
Did you read the email in its entirety?
I talked to Heather on the phone, and I read her letter that she sent to council, all of council.
So,
And
I'm
you-
sorry, Mr. Dutton. So you have not actually read the original email and my response?
Whether or not I read the email, I don't think is relevant.
Mr. Dutton, very aware in my response, I suggested that I would be giving an answer to it when I was able, because there were some issues that were confidential. Were you aware of that? I think that is a no.
Actually, thanks for speaking for me, but I can speak for myself. This article here, you did address that exact there. So what I would say is your article was weak quotes, is where you said that you would address it. And I think everybody in the audience here, I might be the only person here from Marshall, I don't know, but I would love to know where you were with Roger Anderson.
And Mr. Dutton, I will address that. But again, to confirm, you are making allegations then. You have made an allegation that there was name calling. You have made an allegation that I have bullied. You have made an allegation that I'm not being transparent or accountable, and yet you never bothered to read the original email and my response. Is that correct?
I don't believe Clarington, anybody here has got an answer from me yet on any of this, to be honest.
Mr. Dutton, you're dodging the question. Is it correct that you didn't read it and yet you made these allegations?
I think you made up your mind about what I've read and what I haven't read.
Mr. Dutton, instead of me making up my mind, tell us.
Well, if what I've done or haven't done is so much on your mind, then maybe you better CC somebody from the regional police on it like you did to your resident.
Mr. Dutton, thank you.